Oh, god damn it.
Hello and welcome to this week's really big podcast with me, Seb Graham.
Me, Ollie Johnson.
And me, Peter Shipway.
Sam, we miss you so much. Come back to
Hi,
us.
Sam.
He's
Yeah,
not
assume
here.
He's listening. You're so arrogant to assume that people listen to this show, Pete. Get you, you're arrogant. Okay, let's do the odd news. That's what we always do, isn't it?
Apparently.
Apparently, there's a beach ball that children were playing with for years, which turned out to be a giant World War II mine packed with explosives.
What?
Seb, you're talking bollocks.
That's the feature that, we don't do anymore.
Yeah.
But you're right. No, it's true, though. Apparently there was this beach ball that was filled with explosives.
Oh my god.
And apparently families lit fires and barbecues near it for decades. Because that's what you do when you go to the beach.
Wait.
Yeah.
How do you get explosives into a beach ball?
Since it's in World War II. So I must assume by beach ball they mean it's a ball on the beach, rather than a beach ball.
Ball on the beach. Ball on the beach.
Yeah. A pub has installed a vending machine full of beer.
Cool.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Pete?
A vending machine full of beer.
Yeah.
What do you think of this situation?
Give us your insight.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. I remember.
Although,
What's
what's to stop people underage from buying
That's a good
drinks
point.
from it?
I wonder if there's DNA recognition on the coins. Or you have to be above a certain height. Then again, wouldn't that mean that old dwarves couldn't drink beer? Speaking of which, Pete, didn't you get thrown out of a lot of places for not having ID?
Yes.
Why did you not have ID?
Don't know.
You were certainly old
I've got-
enough.
I do have ID now, though.
Yeah, but I remember this one time we went out for a drink and you used your life certificates as ID.
Life certificate.
Yeah. Your birth certificate, I mean. And I said, well, if
This
you ignore
certifies
this...
that Peter Shipway is definitely alive.
Exactly. If you ignore this, then you ignore the fact that he was ever born, which is self-evident.
Oh god, is it ever self-evident?
He reminds us every day.
I'm trying to fill the shoes left behind by Sam by adopting his mannerisms.
Yeah, he's the king of sass, usually.
What was that?
What was what?
That was me farting.
No, there's something else.
Yes, it was a bird, Pete.
It's not going to be a minor. What's wrong with you?
A what?
From Star Wars, the... when they get onto Millennium Falcon. And going to go on the Telegraph. I bet they've got better odd news. Apparently, a professor got suspended from his university for having a Game of Thrones t-shirt.
What?
It's because the t-shirt said, "I will take what is mine with fire and blood," and he was seen as a security hazard. So he was suspended.
What?
Well, apparently,
The fuck?
they thought that he was a danger to everyone around him because of what it said on his t-shirt.
What?
They basically thought that what the t-shirt was his intentions of what he was going to do.
What?
This is true.
Bullshit.
You can claim bullshit all you like, but Also, a man went to a restaurant with his friend and was accidentally served a lion burger.
A lion burger.
Well, apparently
Is that like a lion bar?
Yeah. What, like a big chocolate burger? That sounds like the sort of thing you'd eat.
A burger that doesn't tell the truth.
Well, actually, Pete, you hit on something, because apparently he was talking to his friend casually while they were ordering, and he said, "You're lying," and the waiter thought he said, "You're lying," as in, that's what he wants to eat. So he served him a burger, and he said, "This is very nice, actually. What kind of meat is this?" And they told him it was a lion burger.
Wait, they do that?
Yeah, apparently it was a really niche place for it.
Who ran it? Hannibal Lecter?
I just noticed that his name is Hannibal, which sounds like cannibal, and that's like the perfect name for that guy. It'd be like if there was a murderer called Herderer. Apparently,
Seb's caught onto the pun a million years after everyone else.
I thought I was the first person who noticed it. A Polish man claims that he crossed the Atlantic by kayak.
Bullshit.
The 67-year-old Polish retiree has
Who
claimed...
started at 30. That's realistically how long it would take, I think.
He says it took him 6 months.
Bullshit.
No, you couldn't kayak across the Atlantic.
Apparently he had a foot-long beard when he was done.
What is that?
And apparently he was very tired for the last 3 nights. Apparently he made a stop in Bermuda to have his kayak repaired.
Right.
Yeah.
So he didn't kayak all the way across the Pacific then? He
Not
stopped?
non-stop, he's a liar. He's a liar.
You lie!
Okay, more odd news. What's this?
It'd be like
Sorry.
stopping to get in a boat and rest for a bit when swimming across the English Channel. It doesn't count.
Yeah, hear that, David Walliams. No one likes you. More odd news.
I always thought his name was David Williams.
Yeah,
What,
it's
is
he
he
changed it.
related to Robbie Williams?
Quite possibly.
Okay. A passenger wearing a blanket...
No way!
Oh, Wally. Anyway, this man, he was wearing a blanket as a cape.
Shut up! Okay, I'll stop now.
He was wearing a blanket as a cape and brandishing a Toblerone bar, and he demanded that the airliner should divert to the Winter Olympics.
What, brandishing a Toblerone bar?
He claims he was making fun and jokes, but according to the pilot, it was really serious. It said he had another blanket on his back like a cape, the attendant added, as he walked towards the cockpit holding the large chocolate bar like a sword.
The fuck?
What the hell?
As he approached them...
There would be a perfect opportunity for the bemused Diggle picture.
I'll put that in the video.
Well, we've got to splice all of them in at some point.
As he approached them, he told flight attendants he was robbing the plane before telling them he wanted to get off at the Winter Olympics. Off the plane at the Winter Olympics, not
Yeah.
Yeah, so there we go. That's this week's odd news. By the way, Pete, what do you think of this whole man attacking the pilot with a Toblerone?
Let it be noted, Peter's just made a gesture with his hand to simulate his head exploding.
But a triangular...
Maybe the pilot was allergic to chocolate.
But a triangular, Toblerone is not a weapon. It's not a cleaving weapon, it's not a cutting weapon. What is it?
You'd probably do more damage with a foam Minecraft sword.
Yeah, I mean, the pilot could just easily
You
break it
like
over
my
his
sword,
knee,
so-
By the way, Pete, didn't you have a weird experience on a train last week?
I don't think I want to know.
Well, yeah, I was on the train,
I don't
obviously.
believe you.
and
This is an implausible situation.
I heard a conversation going on.
I love
There was a girl. She said to this guy, "Are you single?" And he held up his hand and said, "I'm in a relationship." And she said, "I don't want to know about the relationship between you and your hand."
Oh.
Sass alert! You could have been in there, Pete, if, he was single.
Hold on. I can't do it.
I can't do the snappy finger thing.
Snap your fingers in a Z formation.
I can't do it.
I can't do it either.
But you
Sorry.
have adventures, don't you, Pete? Didn't you tell me about that one time you were on a trip in France and you found a needle on a
Oh
beach?
God! Don't bring that up again.
Go on, elaborate, Pete. Come on.
Yeah. One time on a trip to France,
No way. Okay, I'll stop.
we were on the beach and I picked up a syringe. And
What kind of syringe?
And I've never heard the end of it.
Answer Ollie's question.
What kind of syringe?
It wasn't one with a needle. It was one that you used to draw out water.
Oh, so it wasn't like drugs.
No.
Oh.
I was picturing like finding a hypodermic needle.
Well, it would literally be hypodermics on the shore, like that, song.
Yeah.
That China wasn't under martial law. Wasn't that the same trip where that teacher ate all the cheese on the cheese board thinking it was all for her?
Why would
don't
you
remember.
think that?
Yeah, well, this is just what someone told me. I wasn't on the trip. Apparently, this teacher, who was quite overweight, I'm not going to name names, sort of... Well, we went to the same school, but she was given a cheese board, and she ate all the cheese on the cheese board, thinking it was hers.
What? A cheese board?
Yeah, a board of cheese, Ollie.
Yeah, but no, not a plate, a board.
No, yeah.
And she thought it was all for her. Well, and she thought it was all for her.
Yeah, that's what she said.
So they brought in a board, and where did they set it down? Did they set it down directly in front
I
of her?
think, from what I heard, it was in the middle of the table. Or maybe it was in front of her, and they expected her to be the first to choose some cheese. But apparently she shoveled it down quite quick.
What? But if it was on a plate that they put directly in front of you, I might understand, but a cheese board in the middle of a table, how do you think that that's all for you? You'd have to be impressively self-absorbed.
Well, she'd probably absorbed everything that touched her. Like Margin Boo.
Like Nick Nolte.
Yeah. And, in fact, I've been doing some research, and apparently, do you know what the largest structure ever made known to man is?
What?
Rick Waller's house.
Okay, fair enough.
I like how Pete took 3 seconds to remember who Rick Waller was. He was that fat man who was on Pop Idol.
I didn't.
Remember,
I never
he
watched
sung
Pop Idol.
on Pop Idol.
Pop Idol.
Anyway,
Pop Idol!
It was a show
yes, I know.
wherein someone would go along. It was basically the X Factor before
Yes.
the X Factor.
Yeah.
And
Remember
it was
Pop
a-
Stars Rivals? Whenever a show's got subtitles, you've got to say it like that. Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
Yeah.
Didn't you have a really weird dream, Pete?
Oh yes,
Do
I had a dream that there was this woman. and-
Oh, it's one of those dreams.
No, it's not one of those dreams.
Ah.
And she was arguing with her husband. This woman was like she was like our old deputy head at school.
So specific.
She was arguing with her husband, and she said something rude. And
I like how
laughed.
Pete said to himself, "This is not a PG show. You
Yes.
can say." what
Okay,
you
she
think."
mentioned penises.
What?
And I
Elaborate.
laughed, and then she got really mad, and she was going to hit me, and I said, "Alright, if you're going to hit me, do it." And then she got a chainsaw out, and for the rest of the dream, she was stalking me with a chainsaw, trying to kill me.
Is it bad that until he mentioned chainsaws, I'd forgotten that he was describing a dream?
Just another day in the life of
Well, if
Pete.
you've ever been in Miss Lois's office,
I mean, he finds needles on the shore.
You just mentioned her by name.
yeah, we can edit.
Yeah, he finds needles on the shore, and women chase after him with chainsaws. But it was really weird. A pop-up came up on my screen last night.
No way.
Yeah, but this was for a... Oh, Pete, not you too. But anyway, it was a porn website. It just came up. I didn't click anything. It happened on its own accord.
That's
The
what they all
pop-up,
tell
that
us.
is, the pop-up, But I, decided to research it a bit further. And you know how on the left-hand side on these porn websites, I'm told, there's the bit where you look through the different options of various porn you like, it could be,
I don't want to know what you've been
I'm not going to
looking for.
elaborate, but, there's various sorts, aren't there? People are into different sort of things.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was this one section about halfway down that said porn. Now, I can't get over the fact there's a porn section on a porn website.
This porn site may contain porn.
I did actually have a bag of peanuts that said may contain traces of nuts once.
Oh, God.
But
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
that can be arranged.
So, Ollie, you got any weird experiences?
I like how you're saying that directly after the porn story. Seriously, what's
With
your
porn?
experiences with porn?
I'm actually struggling to think of things to say at the moment.
I don't know, what's your opinion?
On what?
Porn, I like putting you in awkward situations where you have to answer these questions.
Really, really great.
4. What's my opinion on porn? Yep, it exists, alright.
Yeah, you know that very well.
What, and you don't?
Well, you know, I told you last night what happened.
No, you told me 5 seconds ago. Well, I'm sure you've heard of Rule 34 of the internet.
What's that?
If it exists, there is porn of it. No exceptions.
How about sandwiches?
I guarantee you that is somebody's fetish.
Drains?
Probably.
So
So let me save you some time. Go on 4chan.org, board B. But only if you're prepared to see stuff that you can never unsee. I had a friend that I knew over the internet that used to...
And he was changed forever?
She used to link stuff to me from 4chan, and unsuspecting me would click the links, and I would see something that would be permanently burned into my brain.
Okay. I like how the internet sort of took the place of, you know, traumatic warfare.
In A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
It's a sin! It's a sin!
People say we live in that sort of society, Clockwork Orange society, but I don't see many people with white coats outside, you know, beating people up, and Malcolm McDowell's not anywhere near as young as he used to be. Ollie, you're not a very topical person, are you?
I can be. I have my moments.
Well, what do you think of the whole crisis in Ukraine?
I think it's definitely a crisis.
Yeah, well, what's your basis on that? Was it me calling it a crisis right now?
It's in the Ukraine. It's got to be a crisis. A crisis.
Crisis.
I got caught halfway between crisis and karate there for some reason.
The karate crisis.
Okay, I don't watch the news. I have no idea what's been going on.
Also, what do you think of this whole
Trojan
horse thing happening in Birmingham?
What?
Please elaborate.
Sorry, I think that came out a bit tongue-twisted. Well, there's this whole Trojan horse thing happening in the schools in Birmingham.
Go on.
Well, I'm not going to tell you. You know, you've got to tell me your opinion based on the information I gave you.
What's happening?
Apparently, some schools have been taken over by Muslim hardliners, they claim.
I see.
I don't know where the horses come into it.
Maybe the Trojan horse is a metaphor.
And apparently a local nut representative said he's not come across extremism or segregation. Then again, I would not say that, you know, representing nuts would, you know, leave you qualified to study schools. Oh, NUT! I thought it had something to do with, you know, like, nuts you eat.
Ah.
Yeah.
Snickers, get some nuts.
Yeah, although that is a very funny name for your union. All the good names must have been taken. So yeah, we've gone from the odd news to the mundane news. Didn't someone once ask you what SA stood for?
Yeah, my mum.
That's just hilarious.
I've been on a show called The Team Awesome Show. It's on Facebook and on YouTube.
Whore.
Okay, let's put the link on this page. Let's help them out.
And I put a link to Really Big Shoes on the Team Awesome.
How generous of you, Pete, taking up 5 seconds of your time just to help me on the internet. Speaking of which, don't you find Candy Crush Saga weird? It's got this kind of subculture where people you assume don't like you or hate you sort of are happy enough to help you out. And isn't it weird how people will send you lives when you don't ask for them? Which, you know, don't get me grateful for. It's great to have extra lives, you know, for a rainy day. But isn't it weird when you ask these people to help you get to the next level and they don't do it? Why?
You never ask me to help you get to the next level.
Yes, I do. I do it all the time just to irritate you.
You know what I find funny?
What?
When it says, help, I need a life.
Yes, I should say you do.
Considering you're on level 495 on Candy Crush Saga, I'd say you do need a life.
What level are you on?
410.
Oh.
That's beside the point. Anyway, Ollie, don't you have an extreme hatred for this game?
I don't have an extreme hatred for it. I just, there's another game that I play on the PS Vita that's pretty much exactly the same, so I don't bother with
Is that
Candy Crush.
Bejazzled game? Is that what they call it? Bejazzled?
I think you're thinking of Bejeweled, but no.
Isn't that the show with the women and the talking cat?
What?
That's,
The fuck?
There's several women.
that's
and there's a
Sabrina
talking
the
cat.
Teenage Witch.
What?
That's Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I'm confused. How did we get to the talking... Wasn't the talking cat on that show awesome?
Yes.
What, Salem? Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine him hanging out with Meowth from Pokemon. Speaking of which, did Team Rocket ever do any of the things they sung about in their sort of motto song?
No, never.
I mean, when was the episode when they tried to unite the nations of the world and extend their reach beyond the stars? When did that ever happen on the show? And what do they mean by denouncing the evils of truth and love? I mean, when did they ever attempt to do that?
I don't know. And they're ranting on that song like every time you encounter them. At some point, you've just got to go, yeah, I know, I've heard it 100 times.
Why don't they just run away while they're singing? Oh crap! We lost them again.
Do you think maybe it's the elaborate song we do? No, it isn't.
Don't hate on the song.
Also, speaking of Pokemon, the gyms. Do any of them actually have any gym equipment?
I don't know. I don't remember the episode where Ash was working out with the weights. I don't remember that. But if he did, surely it would make him better at catching the Pokemon. Speaking of which, did people evolve from Pokemon? If so, can you catch a person in a Pokeball?
Don't know.
Well, why don't they ever try it? Surely, human slavery would be very easy in this universe. Abe Lincoln would have had a hell of a time trying to abolish that.
What I want to know about the Pokemon universe is what's become of the education system. As soon as a child turns 10 years old, they send them out into the world to round up animals and have them fight to the death.
Look, kids, you're on your own. By the way, what becomes of the broken-hearted? Who have love that's now departed?
I don't know.
I mean, that's been, screwing with me for years.
In my experience, you either get over it or you mope around.
I know. Why don't you go up to the person who first sung that song and sort of answer his question? I bet it would make his day.
Yeah.
By the way, we're talking about Candy Crush Saga. Do you know who's awesome in that?
Who?
The guy who does the voices. Like Pete. I bet Pete can do a good impression of that man.
Tasty.
Say more.
Sugar Crush. Delicious.
Can't do that one too, Pete. It's time to face the music.
It's time to face the music.
Do it again in a more booming voice.
It's time to face the music.
That was one hell of a voice, but when was that ever said in Candy Crush Saga? For some reason, I think that, that guy could probably do a porno with the way he says stuff like, Sugar Crush, tasty, divine.
An incredibly cheesy porno.
Well, you did say there was porn of everything. And we've come full circle, haven't we?
I think we have.
Which kind of means it's time for the end of the show. This was a very awkward episode, let me tell you.
Yes, it was.
Very awkward.
People being awkward on a podcast show. On the internet, I guarantee you that is somebody's fetish.
Alright, we've already come full circle once. Can't help but think that this would have been handled with more maturity if Sam was on the show.
Possibly.
Yeah. Fantastic. On that note, thank you for listening. That is the end of another episode. Bye.
Bye.